Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gents. Hope everyone is well. Let's have a look. Yes, I'm connected. I haven't been able to connect, and I just had a go and it connected. I got a couple of messages from people saying it's connected. So, fingers crossed. So, it's a bit scary, I've got to say, that it's happening so often, but I think that's probably a good thing. Let's have a look. Leg up, two legs back. I think that's probably a good thing because I think we got more chance of it getting sorted out if it's happening to more people. If it's just happening to a few people, they probably won't do as much. But the fact that it's happening a lot more, I think, is a good thing. So let's have a look. K3, how you doing, bud? Sean, how are you? Ionis, hello. Baby Squid, how you doing? Karina, how are you? Tom, how you doing, bud? Baby Squid, we said hello. Karina, we said hello. Tom, we said hello. Okay, everybody again. Brilliant. Okay. Right, let's have a little look. See what we can do today. But, let's have a look. So, I did skip yesterday. Did I start? I started for a bit and then it was just no point really. I could have traded on a sim, but it was my wife's birthday. So, there was a couple of things I wanted to do anyway. I was going to finish a bit earlier yesterday, so we'll see. So there's a few of you back on now. I think most of you are back on, Karina. Yeah, I have heard it's affected other prop firms. It is an ongoing problem, isn't it? Which is just a bit frustrating, but it's kind of what you can do. The thing is, I've got 20 accounts now, so theoretically, I don't want to be putting any more money into Apex at the moment. Hey, Speedy, how you doing? So a couple of people have said, why don't you have a go at something like Top Step? But the trouble is, you move to another one, you're going to start putting more money in. So I've just kind of been putting money in for the last sort of 3.5 years, and I like the fact that at the moment my bank balance is a little bit more stable. So I just don't know. You got 19. Good on you, Speedy. It's a nice feeling when you get to 20 because all of a sudden you're not paying for A-levels, you're not paying for PA accounts as long as you keep them. But I mean, if you can get there, chances are you've got a good chance of keeping them anyway. But yeah, it is a bit frustrating, isn't it? You work all this time and you learn and you improve and so on to be able to get to where you want to get to, and all of a sudden you can't trade the damn things. It's kind of frustrating. But what I'm going to do in about a month is I'm going to put £5,000 of my own money in. I've got a few bits of stocks and stuff that I've sort of accumulated over the years. Not a lot, but I'm going to take £5,000, which is about just over $6,000 of my own money, and I'm going to put it into my broker. And I think what I'm going to do is trade that, maybe just one contract, something like that, maybe one, maybe two. I don't know. We'll see. But I've got, at least I've got that to trade then if we have problems with Rhythmic down. So I'm going to do that in about a month, something like that. Because it is a bit frustrating because, you know, I'm at home now in the daytime. So I'm kind of here, ready to work and eager to sort of get in front of the screens. But, you know, the trouble is if Rhythmic's down, what options have you got, really? I suppose you could do a sim. But I'd rather, you know, I've spent my days on sims. I want to try and build some money now. So at least then if I have my own account, it'll, you know. The good thing about your own account as well is there's no rules. So, you know, if you see a good trade like this failure and you move it to break even, theoretically, you can let it run if you want to try and go for a few more points. So what I might do is maybe I'd like to start learning a swing trading strategy as well. So I may just do a micro or two on my own account, maybe out of hours, and just try going for bigger moves or something. I don't know. I'll have to have a think about that. Or I might just go for one account or one contract and maybe you know, set up something where my stop sort of follows it, like a trailing stop. What broker you look in the UK? I think you can only you can only sign up to one broker. I believe it's their own broker, NinjaTrader's own broker. Okay, that's interesting. Leg and a leg. There is a second entry short there, and it's only 5 ticks. God, that's very tempting. I prefer that a little bit higher personally, but I don't think it's terrible. But it's a tough one, that is. I would prefer that a little bit closer. And straight away, that's made me nervous. That, for me, I like that body there because it could stitch you up. You may get away with it, but I'm staying out of this. It may work. It has touched it. Okay, I'm glad that's worked for anybody who's got in there. It's just not quite close enough for me, that. And it's a bit risky for me. There is going to be traders in there. Let's have a look, see how much it's gone for. But it is 2 legs back. But for me, I like that closer. It has worked, so good. Who's ever taken that, good on them. But I would prefer that just a little bit closer to the EMA. It is 2 legs. And it is... let's have a look. How much has it gone for? So if you went a tick below it, you got 2 points. So that's good. Even if you went for 2.25 points, you're out comfortably. But for me, it's just a little bit too far from that EMA. I prefer that little higher. If that was a little bit higher, I'd have taken that. I don't know. Perhaps I have gone. Now I've got these accounts. Perhaps I've gone a little bit extra cautious, but I've been caught out on those before. But it has worked. I don't know. For some reason, I seem to have lost trust in the ES. I'd have probably taken that on the CL, but I don't know. I've been tricked so many times there, and sometimes it goes a little bit higher. But if you've taken that, good on you, because I don't think it was a bad trade. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, you can only use one broker with Apex. There used to be 2. When I first started this a few years ago, there was Philip Capital and another one. And then I believe you just sign up to NinjaTrader's own broker now. I think it's pretty straightforward. You just log into your account and put some money in. But I want to start building my own account, really. You know, prop firms are all good and well, but, you know, they are plagued with problems at the moment. So you don't know if this thing lasts and lasts. You don't know whether... That's it, yeah. Dormant trading, yeah, that was it, yeah. It was Philip Capital and dormant trading, yeah. I believe it's their own now. Was I saying, yeah, you don't know how long. If this problem keeps going with Rhythmic, you don't know whether people are going to start moving away from prop firms a little bit. I kind of hope they don't, and I don't think they will, but it would be nice just to have, you know, more strings to my bow. So I want to just build my own account as well. You can use any broker for personally. Just switch to a platform. Yeah, I know what you mean. Trouble is, I paid about 3 years ago. I paid the £1,000 for the license, and I do like NinjaTrader, and I have been using it nearly every day now for the last 3 years. So I'm kind of really used to it. I know exactly how it works. Let's have a look. Will you open a NinjaTrader account in dollars or pounds? Okay. That's a good question, that, mate, because if I remember rightly, when I first signed up, if I withdrawn pounds to my bank account, I believe I would get charged $50 every time I made a withdrawal. And not only that, I believe my bank would take some. But if you sign up to a Revolut account, you get so much. You can have a US dollar account and a pound account as well. So I can transfer my pounds to US dollars at current rate free of charge, and I can put money into my NinjaTrader in dollars. So no one's charging me for exchange, any type of exchange rates or fees. and vice versa as well. I can withdraw it into dollars into my Revolut account, and Revolut, if you're from the UK, Revolut is just the same as Monzo. There's a bunch of them. They're the new online accounts, but they've got exactly the same protection as the normal UK banks. But the UK banking system is a massive con, in my opinion. You put all your money in there for years and years, they give you jack shit for it. You get less than inflation, so it's just a big con. But the new online banks, that you get much more benefits with them. You know what I mean? If you, because I mean, I don't know about you guys. You know, when I used to sort of travel abroad a little bit more for holidays, you had to go into a travel agent, change the money. They charge you X amount of percent. It's like anything. People are always trying to take money out of your pockets, but with the new online banks, there's a lot more benefits to them. So hopefully I should avoid any type of exchange rates. But I'm going to do that next month. Just put £5,000, which is just over $6,000. At least then I've got something else to trade. Should we continue these problems with Rhythmic? I hope they don't. You like to think they're going to sort something out. Anybody take that, did they? Just incidentally. You went from dormant, but I went with dormant back in the day. Yeah, I think it was about, when did I sign up to mine? It was about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago. I put money of my own in and, well, basically lost it. Something like that. You took two good on you, mate. I don't think it was a bad trade. Let me think. I mean, if I'd have traded maybe one account, I'd have probably taken that one, but I've been caught out by those before. I much prefer them a little bit closer. You got out after a tick. Yeah. Yeah, when that bullish bar came, I thought it was going to get stopped out, but I think it was a good enough setup and that there would be enough sellers in there to push it on down, and I think eventually that's what's happened. So I think it was a strong enough trade. But for me, trading 10 accounts, I'd much prefer something just a little bit better than that. I think that was probably an 8 out of 10 maybe. Took on a sim, but without context, it was tough, yeah. It's hard to say, isn't it? We've had this. Maybe there may be a bigger channel here, see, and we've had a break and a new low. And that's the problem. We've had a new low there. We've had another attempt to go lower, so it could push up. So that's another bit that just makes me a bit nervous. And also, it is a little sideways, but at the end of the day, even if it is a bit rangy, you're still shorting at the top, aren't you? So let's have a look. Yeah, I'm just looking on the Discord. Not everybody took it. I know Thomas never took it. So yeah, I just preferred that just a little bit higher. And the top, if that top of that body was tucked under that line, I'd have jumped all over that like a rash. I have a big channel drawn from the. Let's have a look. Yeah, maybe. It's hard to say. If that's the case, we've already had a break of it and two pushes down to a new low. So I'm not so sure about that. Let's have a look. Maybe there's maybe a spike in a channel. Let's have a look. I think it's probably a bit early at the moment. It may be. It's hard to tell. Yeah. I mean, when you look at it like that, Thomas, it ain't that steep now, is it? I've noticed some people, they have their candles stretched out like that. It might not be that bad. Would I trust it and short it here? I'm not so sure. But what I will say is, I'm going to remove it. What I will say, we are still making lower highs, which is indicating a trend. So I think we are still in a trend. Whether we're in... Maybe it's hard to say. what I think there is a possibility of is that leg and a leg. Okay, just incidentally, guys, I did put a quick video out earlier. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it was just basically thanking everybody for the help, support, you guys, and all sorts of help me with, and using my affiliate link as well. It's helped me massively. So I just felt the need. I wanted to say something. So I did. If you haven't seen it, then fine. But if you have seen it, then have a look at it later. It's just to thanking people for going out of the way and using my code. So it's appreciated. So I thought I owed to tell it. I owed it to you guys to tell you. So I thought I'd make a video earlier. I don't make many in the way of videos really. I just tend to do the stream. I'm not what you would call a typical YouTuber, because I don't believe I've got anything to teach really, because I'm only sort of an intermediate trader myself really. So I wouldn't presume to say I know enough that any more of any of you to teach anybody. Let's have a look. Yeah, trouble is, it's a bit hard, isn't it? It's hard to say there. I really am not sure about that. How to draw that, in all fairness. I'm going to check it on some. Yeah, it's just a 10-minute video. I just said a little bit about the rhythmic issues and stuff like that. But I just wanted to say thanks, basically, for people supporting me. It's massively helped me financially, covering my trading costs. I wouldn't have been able to. I tend to work weekends, not so much lately, but I tend to top my money up weekends. But it's nice to have had the support to be, to spend more time trading. So I don't know, a lot of people don't really say thanks, do they? So I thought it was about time. I have said thanks before, but I thought it was about time I made a video just to make a point that it is appreciated. So if you get a minute, I did keep it relatively brief. I can talk a bit sometimes. Let's have a look. That's my chart, which is my chart. What am I missing, bud? Actually, you have a lot to teach. I think really, in the way of teaching, I think it's more seeing my experience, learning from my experience, seeing where I've failed. So I don't think it's nothing actually how to teach you how to trade. It's probably a better that I've taught you what not to do, to sort of limit your losses. Only ever, look at that, right to the nearest tick. To only ever, see, when you're learning and you're new and you move on to evaluations, I've said this from day one. I know some YouTubers or streamers might tell you to get as many evals as you can, because obviously, we get commissions, but those commissions help me to cover my trades, but I wouldn't want to do it at the expense of you guys losing tons of money and talking you into just taking dozens and dozens of them, because it's not the right thing to do. In all honesty, if you're newish or you've been trading 12 months and you want to have a go at evaluations, only ever do one until you can start to make that one pay. And when you can start to make it pay and you can control those emotions to get to a payday, that's when you want to start to increase them. But I wouldn't tell anyone to use my affiliate link and buy them for the sake of them, because I think you can throw away way more money than you really should be doing, because it can be blooming crippling financially. I wonder if that's a better option. But no, I just wanted to say thanks, that's all. I hope they do sort these rhythmic issues out, because it is a pain in the arse. I've spent nearly 3 years working my way up to 20 counts, and now, mate, I can't bloody trade them. So what do you do? We're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, really. It must be frustrating for Apex, because they get slaughtered in the comments. And you can understand people being a bit peed off about it. But Apex, they don't want the problems themselves because, you know, they're quite likely they're going to lose some customers. Some customers are probably going to try elsewhere. It's not so easy if you've got 20 accounts. You can't just up sticks and move. But they are getting a hard time of it, which is just unfortunate, really. So the good thing is, because it's happening a lot, the powers that be have got more chance of fixing the damn thing. So hopefully we can all sleep better at night, and you know, because there must be nothing more frustrating than having money dipping out of your accounts. We kind of know that Apex put it back, but while you're waiting and you send the money gone, it's not a nice feeling, isn't it? Yeah, look. Let's see what are we expecting. So I wonder if we're having something like this. So we've hit that. We hit all-time highs there, and then again a bit higher and a bit higher and a bit higher there. So I wonder if we're having like a leg and a leg. Let's have a look. Osum's good for the bigger picture. He's good at reading bigger charts. So maybe a leg and a leg. See, I forget sometimes that there are, you know, this is a small drop in the ocean really compared to the charts in general. So that leg and a leg could be two tiny little bars on the daily. In fact, let's have a look at the daily. Let's see what we may expect. Let's just kill that. So okay, so we know we've had this massive buy and buy and buy and buy, and then we had that big drop, didn't we? And we pushed up, and that I liked. We had that second entry long there, which pushed up nice and strongly. So we're finding a little bit of either support or sideways here. So we've been up and made new highs quite a few times. So we've not just hit it all of a sudden, and now we're going to dump. But there is kind of two legs back, so there is a good possibility we could get up to these 600 area. But I would expect a little bit of a pullback before we push some more. We could come back to here. So we kind of got to push up there with two legs back. Nice strong bull bar. And we do tend to be working up. We got a little bit of sideways, so whether we may be in this range and we may drop out the bottom and push up, but I think there's a good chance of us getting a bit higher there. So let's pop back to the 2000s. Let me have a little look. On daily chart, we have two legs from October 28th. When you say two legs, are we at the top of a leg? Let me have another look. Come on, where are you? Oh, it's froze. Typical. Okay. Okay, now I'll switch back to the 2000. Okay, it's gone. What is going on here? Where are we? Okay, let's try again. We have now tested the high on the last leg. Okay, so we could get a dump then, couldn't we? It's hard to say, really. Where are we? Where are we? Okay. Nope. There we go, okay. I don't know what was going on there. I only usually have a... Why is that? Okay. Sorry about this. Right. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. Let's get rid of that. Now, I think by the looks of things, this is definitely turning into a downtrend. It's touching now, so I think it may be a spike in a channel. It's kind of touching in all the right places. We've got a 1, 2, touches there, touch there. You can clearly see it there. In fact, that can... Don't do that. I can come down a little bit more. Yeah, it's fitting quite nice there. We're clearly looping down, aren't we? So... Let's have a little look. Yes. I like that. Okay, but we are making a bit of a bottom here. Oh, thank you, Speedy. Thanks, pal. Nice comment there. Well, you've got to say thanks. If people help you out, haven't you? A lot of people, they don't really. But I think it's important to just let people know. I mean, I have said I appreciate it in the fact, but sometimes it's nice to just make a point, isn't it? Because I wouldn't have been able to spend as much time trading if it wasn't for that extra affiliate. It's basically covered my trading costs, so I'd have ended up, you know, trading less days. So I consider myself fortunate and grateful. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look at this CL chart. See what this is showing us today. So we've had a leg and a leg and a little bit of sideways and a breakout. Do you know, when I first looked at this a few weeks ago, it looked amazing. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, we had the rollover, which I didn't realise happens every month. We had the rollover, and then it's looked bloody horrible ever since. Did somebody mention we got news, OPEC news today? I'm sure somebody did. I have to check that out. Yeah, I'm sure somebody mentioned we got some OPEC news. Okay, so I've got to be careful going short now because depending on how you draw this, we could have had a bit of a break. If you'd have drawn this from the top, then this could have been a break. Or we could have had a break here. So it's a bit hard to go think about a short here because, as you can see, we're clearly creating some support there. So whether that will stop us from going, but I would not want to go short into that. I kind of like, and not only that, if this is the bottom of the channel, we're not getting here. So I would expect that we may get a break here. Someone said it's lagging like crazy. Mine isn't. I don't know about your guys. Just keep an eye on that lag. If that lag's getting into the orange and red, hold back on a trade until it drops. Okay, so we're having that break I thought we may have. We had to, really, because we're not coming down to this side and we've tested it 3 times. So leg and a leg. That's interesting. It's kind of a possible hidden second entry short there. Would that be like a penguin style trade? Leg and a leg? Maybe. Trouble is he waits for it to push through that EMA. Unfortunately, it's too late for me there. So maybe we get another one and we get a triple test. Let's just pull out a little bit. Just looking at that CL, there's kind of a second entry short there, but going into support there for me is just a bit of a no-no. It may, I mean, if this is sideways, we could smash straight through it, but there's such a lot of support there. I think it would be A little bit irresponsible of me to go short there, although there is a second entry short. But what there is also is a little bit of a range. So if you're going to go short in a range, 3/4 of the way down to the bottom isn't the place to do it. Although I have a gut feeling that we could break below here, but it's a feeling, that's all. I can't go on my gut. Okay, so leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. See if we can push that EMA and make a lower high. I may have a go at that. We already have 2 legs down. I don't think Penguin, he wouldn't go there, would he? See, we tend to have a leg and he waits for 2 pushes, but he also waits for it to push below that EMA. And the trouble is, if he does take a trade below that EMA, I don't think he's going to be out. Well, that's too long anyway. He won't be out before the bottom, so... yeah, it's tough on that, isn't it? See, I don't think from what I can see we've had a break and a new low. Tricky place to take a trade. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. So we've had what looks like a couple of little legs, so maybe we're going to start working down. I wouldn't be shocked if we go sideways, followed by a break out the top, and then a push and a retest, and then finally down. That tends to be how it happens a lot of the time. So, be interesting to see as if we get a little bit of sideways here. So I'm going to stick my neck out and put that there, see what happens. So I'm going to guess that... Anybody give me any odds on this? Sometimes I like to try and preempt what's going to happen, because if it works, it makes me look really clever. It's how easy it is to fool people. A lot of bullish momentum there, yeah. It's tough on one, really, isn't it? But from what I can see, there are other traders who've got that same sort of channel. So you'd expect a retest, I would have said. But we have had almost 3 bounces, haven't we? So maybe we won't. There's always a possibility that this could be just a bigger range, and we're just testing the bottom of it, and that's... Might get a bounce off the EMA on the chart, yeah. Just looking at that CL trade that I looked at. It does look like it's working, but it's just too much going short into that. I expect a retest, but I was saying the bullish momentum needs to play out. Yeah. See, I don't know about you, Chad, but going back a couple of years, so many times, as soon as we had a breakout of a channel, we'd more or less push straight down. But now, we tend to do this sometimes and eventually push down. You know, we don't get that normal break looking for a setup and then down. Sometimes it just kind of goes all the way around the planet before it eventually finds its way. But after this, I'd expect a retest, but you don't know exactly where it's going to come. Are we going to make another couple of efforts to go higher first? There is a lot less chop, yeah. Yeah, there was. Things did seem easy, didn't it? I wonder exactly why. Well, at least we're trading anyway. Hopefully, Rhythmic's been sorted out, at least temporarily, so we can get a day in. I think I've missed 3 days in the last 2 weeks. fact, Chad, didn't you? Sorry, Chad. Who am I thinking of? Who said they had money out their account? Who was it? I can't think now. Sure said someone they made some money and it disappeared from their accounts. Was that yesterday? I can't think now. Certainty in the market. Yeah, maybe. No one wants to buy at times. So what do we need? Something terrible to happen. Another COVID or something. See, I miss COVID, but the trouble is, from what I can gather, when something like that happens, you get a lot more volatility. The trouble is, you can't wish that, really, can you? Bigger uptrend forming. Maybe. I just have a feeling we're going to go sideways before we push down, which is why I've drawn that little range, because so much of the time, you see how we got 4 little touches there, 1 below it and 3 on top of it. Whenever we get that, a lot of time, we do this a little bit first and then eventually work its way down. But absolutely, there's always a possibility of something. Why does that do that? There's always a possibility of something like that. But I still believe that we're more likely to tackle these lows again. But where it'll come, that's the tricky part, isn't it? There were so many bars. Was there really? Yeah, see, I kind of learned to trade part the way through it all. That's when I kind of started learning a little bit about trading, because it was sort of purely accidental for me, really. I did something called matched betting, which is just like a way of making money from the free bets the bookmakers give you. There's a sort of a certain way of doing it so that you can make money. And after a while, the bookmakers get wise to it and they restrict offers so you don't make as much money from it. And at the time, I heard some of the people in the forums that I was doing this match betting and talking about Betfair trading, which was trading sports bets, and that's how it came about from me. Michael, how you doing, my friend? Draw a diagonal channel up. A diagonal channel up. About something like that, are you? Yeah, I can see something that. Oh, I just pressed. I did match betting throughout. You need to keep going. Oh, did you really? Yeah, people think it's a gimmick, don't they? Because as soon as you mention the word betting, they can't get it through their head. They just think, it's some sort of a gambling thing, isn't it? And it's not. I think I made about £8,000 over 2 years, maybe a bit more. But I found out about it accidentally. There's a lot of videos on how to do it, but people think it's a gimmick, don't they? It's not. There's no risk. You make money out of the bookmakers. But yeah, I think I made about 8,000. But that's how I eventually got into trading, purely by accident. But yeah, great way of making some extra cash. And because it's classed as gambling, although it's not, it's also tax-free as well. So yeah, I did all right out of it. I did. So yeah, if anybody fancies making a bit of money, especially some money to help them trade, search matched betting. I tell you 100% now, it is no gimmick, and it is not gambling. It's just a set way of making money. And once you've done it once or twice, in fact, the companies over in the UK will show you how to do it about 3 times to make yourself about £50 before you go on and sign up to all their software, which is about 20 quid a month. But trust me now, if you want to have a go at it, it is absolutely risk-free. It's not gambling. It sounds like it is, but it's not. Trust me. If you want to make a bit of money, especially to help your trading cost, YouTube matched betting. Great way of making cash and tax-free income as well. So there is kind of a second entry long there, but I am still on the fence of this coming down to retest the bottom, so long is not a place I'm thinking of going at the moment. It's a tough one, that. Let's have a look. So it is kind of a second entry long, but you're into these highs, and after that big push down, you've got to be thinking about making a new extreme here. So going along there, I think, is just risky. Although it is technically a second entry long. There's your first entry. As soon as that broke above there, second entry. Bouncy Teslas, yeah. I'm still expecting it Teslas now. I mean, it could absolutely go high, but what I will say is we've come from the bottom there. We've only got so far up, not to the tops. So that's a lack of momentum to me. So if this is a channel, which I don't think it is, I'd expect a break. But my honest opinion about that is it is a channel with a break. So I am expecting a test of these lows. But when it'll happen, that's the tough bit nowadays. Okay, so that trade I looked at on the CL did clearly work. It was a second entry short there, clearly worked. It looked good. My only slight concern, it's going short into all that, so you have to take that into consideration. But it is a second entry short, and it did work. But I'm happy to leave those. I don't want to go short into all that. But if you can see what the context is doing, and you know what you're sort of doing, there's no reason why you can't. But for me, I'm just not confident enough really to want to do that. So that's the CL anyway. So this does seem to be moving up at the moment. I mean, we could have a leg and a leg, and then it work its way down. But if you look at this, we're coming away from that top, and that's gone up too steep to get over here, so I'm expecting a break. And there is some support along there, right the way along there. Touch, 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 touch. So that made me where it breaks the camel's back. Yeah, I wonder how these, I mean, I haven't been trading long enough to know these, these things that happen. Sort of, what was what happened in Japan where they had the earthquake? I don't know how it affects, you think it's got to affect markets negatively. Where they had that big tsunami as well. They were all really happened before I did any type of trading, so I wasn't aware what type of effect that on that. I mean, you would think it would have an adverse effect, wouldn't you? So from an investor's point of view, not necessarily good news, but from a trader's point of view, it doesn't really matter to us whether the markets are going up or down. We just trade them as and when. So but it's a shame really that it takes something bad to happen to make money. Really, you can't. You're bound to feel probably a little bit guilty about it, aren't you? But it's life, isn't it? It's just kind of the way the world works. So I want to see a break here now. So I'm saying that that's 2 legs up. It's not a measured move, but I still expect a retest of this at the moment. There's always that possibility if it goes from here to there that we have had a break. I can't see how or where at the moment. Let's just have a look onto the Apex Discord just to see if there's any more new news. There isn't, no. Okay, this is going to be this break, I think. There is a lower high there. I think it's likely we're going to get back to that EMA. But this is where I think direction is going to change, personally. Well, I'm surprised that did that, really am. That's not what I was expecting. Are we going to say that's a small break? I suppose you have to assume it is. I did not expect that buy in there. Okay. I tell you what. Have we just pushed up and got that measured move? Is that why? We're not far off. Maybe 4 ticks. 4 or 5 ticks. They had to take stops first, maybe, yeah. Yeah, there's certainly going to be some above there, isn't there? Let's see what happens now. But this angle we're coming away from, we're clearly coming away, aren't we? So that momentum is, we're not getting anywhere near up here, are we? So that is telling me I'd expect a break. So whether we have a break and an attempt to retest and then eventually work our way down. But I'd still like to see these retests. Now, obviously, the further this goes up, the less likelihood that's happening, really. But in the grand scheme of things, I mean, this could pull back 50% of this and still come down, couldn't it? So it is a fair old move. So we are, yeah, see, we're not even 50% of it. So will it go much further than that leg? So we are at that 38.20 level, aren't we? So that's only a relatively standard pullback in the grand scheme of that move, really, isn't it? I think. How far did we come down? Let's have a look. So we're down, not that much, 39 points. But we are losing that momentum. If that's a channel, we've got to touch. So I think it's pretty good. But obviously that first push has gone up a lot steeper. But this we seem to be struggling with a little bit, which is why I think it was likely we're going to have this break. And then maybe a retest and then the start of the move down. Because I still think we will come down at the moment. Okay, that little bullish bar. Let's see what happens there. Still, I think this thing's trying to push up. Come on. Drop. Anybody else? Rhythmic's working okay. Ninja Trader's okay. I seem to be good at the moment. I can't see anything extra on Apex. They've stopped the comments. Whenever things get, whenever the insults get a little bit too much, they tend to block the comments. You can understand people being frustrated. You know, I know technically it's not Apex's fault, but if you buy a product from someone and they use a certain piece of software from a third party, you've got to stand by it, really. I mean, so I think people are a bit cheesed off with it. It is a bit frustrating. Stephen got timed out for a clown emoji. So yeah, just look at what you said there. There were so many bars in a day, so I suppose that's the time you would start to maybe adjust your chart. And let's say you're getting double the bars, would you go down to the 1,000 tick chart? I seem to remember, I don't know if anybody else can think that, can remember this. Maybe in a couple of years ago, we seemed to get a lot of volatility. So whether it was something to do with the back end of COVID or something, I can't remember. Maybe two and a half years ago. But Mac told us to go up to the I think it was the 3,000 tick chart, was it? I can't remember what it was now. I'm pretty sure he advised us that we could go to the 3,000 or 4,000 tick chart. I remember doing it for a while, but I can't remember why exactly or how long before we changed back. But I'm sure it was a couple of years ago. It may have been a little bit more. I opened an order and closed, no problem. Didn't enter it. Yeah, so far, I seem to be okay.
Order submitted.
That seems to be okay. Everything's opening like it should.
Order cancelled.
So at least that's a little bit of peace of mind there, because the last thing you want to do is wait for a good setup and then we can't take it or something goes wrong. It is frustrating that we sit here so long for a setup, and when we take one finally, we want everything to run smooth. Oh, well, Apex, I got you. COVID pandemic and post-lockdown was best for trading. Yeah, it was. It's a shame, really, that it takes loss of life, really, to sort of have an effective market. It's kind of wrong, really, isn't it, in a way? Matt did say that during the summer break, volatility was low. Volatility should pick up. Yeah, I definitely remember it, but I can't exactly remember when or why. But I'm pretty sure we moved to the 3,000 tick chart, I think it was. Yeah, it is a shame, really, that sort of bad news sort of creates movement, doesn't it? And movement, volatility, creates profits. Traders enjoy the summer, yeah. It's a bit chilly in the UK at the moment. It's what temperature are we now? I think it's, I don't know what it is. It's been a bit chilly the last few days. Oh, it's 14 degrees centigrade at the moment. Yeah, it's not particularly warm. But we had, I think it was the year before last, we had our highest temperatures ever, 42 degrees. Okay, well, this thing's still pushing. So whether we've just hit that now, whether there's any type of a wider channel, we've just actually hit that measured move. So whether there's anything like that that's happening now, it could be. There's kind of a spike in the channel. A great year here, isn't? Yeah. But now we had, I think it was the year before last, we had about 42 degrees centigrade, which was it was the hottest we'd ever had. But I don't mind temperature in the day. I can put up with, quite warm temperatures in the day, especially if you're on holiday, you're near a pool. But at night, nothing worse than not being able to sleep at night. So whenever we go away, we always make sure they've got good air conditioning. If there is a spike in the channel there. In fact, we could probably take that down to there is probably a better option. Yeah, it's tough on that. Almost 50% retraced, yeah. So it could still come down. It's just hard to say, really, isn't it? But we've had that measured move played out. In fact, you could probably even take that down a little bit further, right to the bottom. So we've only really gone a couple of 3 ticks above it. But they've had that. Anybody that's in the news, I don't know whether you guys in the US will hear more about it, about Michael Mosley. It was a sort of he was a doctor, British doctor, but he was a presenter as well, did lots of sort of health programs. I think he sort of really started the 5-2 diet, intermittent fasting. And he was on holiday in, I think it was Greece somewhere. And he went out walking in the hot temperatures. I think it was about 42 degrees there. And he went out for quite a walk and got caught out by there's still news coming through, but he ended up losing his life, I think 90 yards from the sea. Now, obviously, when you're out in temperatures like that, you've got to be extremely careful. But he was an avid walker, and obviously a doctor, so it's quite hard to understand how it happened. But imagine that sort of collapsing 90 meters, because if you're overheating in temperatures like that, as soon as you hit the sea, as soon as you get to water, you can drop your body temperature pretty quick. Yeah, it's really sad news, actually. But it just goes to show how that weather can catch you out, really, if something goes wrong. It's very barren and open there as well. So there was, if you can get to some shade, you can increase your chances considerably, but there was none. It was quite a rocky terrain, but it was a real shame when they sort of picked his body up. He was so close to the water. Terrible, really. I noticed that they have to tighten channels. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here at the moment. Let's just have a look at that 50% retracement. Let's see how far we have got. So we'll go from the top to the bottom. We've got to be close. Yeah, we are close. See, it's not gone too far to come down for the leg, but I would have expected more of a leg and leg. But I suppose it kind of is, isn't it? It's a leg there with a pullback and another leg. I mean, it may not. We may have a small break, and it may continue higher. I mean, at the end of the day, in a couple of hours' time, we may just end up looking like this. It would be the first time it ranges. I think it does it, so they say, about 80% of the time. So we have touched 3 places there. So we could be laying down range bottoms. There's always a possibility. And if that's the case, we may not get a retest. This thing, I was expecting it to sort of break more and come down before this, and it just doesn't seem to want to. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick, while this is doing this and sideways, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, folks. I'm getting a bit dry in the mouth, so I'm just going to make a quick cup of tea. And I'll be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. So look, 90% off ends tonight, but I think they're extending it. I'll be amazed if they don't. 15th of July. Yeah, that sounds about right. They're bound to. They know there's been issues and people haven't been able to trade, so they've got to do something, really, aren't they? Because the last thing they want to do is have rhythmic issues and then say, sorry, the offer's run out now when you haven't been able to trade. Yeah, I don't know whether, because of the $250,000, because people trade in the news, whether it's having anything to do with it or not. It's a tough one, isn't it, that? Because a lot of it seemed to stem from 130 when, a few days ago when the news seemed to hit. I know it's slowing down a bit though, isn't it? So that measured move played out. I'm not sure whether this has gone a bit too far now, really, for a pullback. Maybe not. I have a feeling it may have done though. So let's have a look now. We're at that 50% level. We're close to it. And it is struggling a bit there, isn't it? It is going very slow now, which tells me it's losing momentum. A potential break on my uptrend, have you? Let's have a look. Depends where you take that from, really, doesn't it? That's the trouble. So let's say take it from there. There's a possibility. That's that I don't like. If we put it to there, yeah, it's so hard, this, isn't it? Karina, how you doing, mate? Tomorrow's news and Thursday we can't expect rhythmic issues. Yeah, you're probably right there. Yeah, it does seem to be when there's the news. See, there's such a lot of people putting orders in, and I think rhythmic's just getting hammered, isn't it? So see, originally I had it like that, didn't I? So maybe we got that initial push-up. Usually, after that initial push-up, where we come back to, that's where we sort of bounce and move from. So you would generally put that there, wouldn't you? And then where do we go from there? So we're close to a touch here. We got a touch there and a little break with the so. Yeah, sometimes these breaks. I remember emailing Mac once, and I said I can't understand why this doesn't work. And he said we've had a little break, and it was a tiny break. I mean, literally, it was like that. Nice breakout, pullback entry. Yeah, it's. I don't know. Sometimes these can be more a pain in the arse, really, to get them right. But ordinarily, see, we have those two legs up, we have that pullback, and usually if we continue up, that is usually a starting point. And if I put that there, we've touched there. Let's make this a bit bigger. We've touched there, we've touched here, so we've got one touch there. You can consider that a touch, possibly even that. So it's clearly working there, isn't it? Let's move that up a fraction. So we got a touch here and a touch there. But it does seem to, this is the bit that makes them confusing to me sometimes. We're at the top. But if you look from then on, we tend to drift away from the top of this channel. So once we start to come away, that's when I expect breaks. It's not the biggest break, but it's probably a break nonetheless. But that's why I start to think, okay, maybe there is something wider there, but we're still missing all this bottom, so I'm not sure about this. Sometimes these can be a bit tricky to work out. But I think the best option I've got is to assume we've had a break and 2 pushes up, so don't think about going. I'm not thinking about going along at the moment anyway. Sorry about that. Going along isn't, this thing just doesn't seem to want to stop, does it? We must have hit that 50% pullback now. I think it's gone a bit too far to come down and retest. It may do, but I'm considering that this now is an uptrend. It clearly is. But I think it's an uptrend. We've likely had a break and 2 pushes up, so let's just run this on it again. But I think it's too late now. I think it's hit it. Yeah, we've clearly pushed above it. So I would have preferred sort of a leg and a leg and then a pullback. But I think it's just gone too far now. So as I mentioned earlier, we could just be laying down some range bottoms. So this thing, although it looks like a channel down and a channel up, it looks like we could, just be in a bigger range really. Literally just been buying every touch of this trend channel for a point to pass another 250. Yeah, that's the beauty of these evaluations, aren't it? You can, when it's doing this, pretty much if you bought in, even if you put your stop down here and took a bit of a risk, you pretty much, you may not want to do it with a PA account, but, if you sort of, I don't know, put a, bought here or somewhere and put your stop down here and then you bought here or here or here, you pretty much, it's not the ideal trading strategy long term, but for to get some points up on an evaluation, it's not a terrible way of doing it. But this thing's just, it's got a bit of a weird shape to it now, so I wonder whether there is something larger there now. We got a touch there, a touch there, a touch there. So maybe we haven't had a break. I haven't traded any PAs in over a week. No, I haven't really, mate. I think I traded one of them for a trade a few days ago later in the evening. I think on a day that I traded, on a day that I stopped because of rhythmic issues. But yeah, I haven't really either. I haven't taken anything since early part of last week, I think. Or did I even do that? I can't remember. Yeah, so this is looking better to me now. So after that initial 2 legs up and this pullback, that's where I usually expect the bounce from, and it's touching a few times there. We got a touch there, a touch there, a touch there, touch there. So that's looking much better now. So this is clearly a nicer looking channel for me. You may not even incorporate that really. That's probably a better option. I don't think you need to, because that's just the top of this pull down. But if you look there, there and there, it's fitting perfectly. So I'm not even too concerned with that really. You may put it in, but I think the most important part is really, unless we got an overshoot, is the bottom, and that fits nice. But yeah, there's not been a huge amount of trades around, and obviously this issue of rhythmic, it's kind of a bit scary. If they say don't trade them and you trade them and something goes wrong, you got to be a bit careful. I hope they sort them out. I kind of like the fact that the more problems you have with them, the more chance they've got of finally trying to find a fix or another option. Because if it continues like this, people are going to walk. They're going to, it may be a case that it happens to a lot of other prop firms, but for me, that I gather it's happening more with Apex just because of these big deals and these 250 accounts and people maybe trading the news. So I think it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of a result of your own success type of thing, isn't it? So, whether it is, but people are going to try other prop firms. Now, don't get me wrong, I've not used anybody else bar Apex in a year and a half. But, if you continue to have to have problems, you're automatically going to be thinking about trying someone else. So I hope they sort it out quickly. Otherwise, well, I mean, people are just going to get more and more pissed off, aren't they? And that's when they tend to start thinking about moving, which is a shame because, especially for me, because I've just managed to cough up all this money over the last year and a half, and I've managed to get to where I don't need to pay any more money now, or at least at the moment. So I really don't want to be. I was just looking at that, buddy. It's a tough one, that. It's just a little bit big for me, and we haven't finished yet. I mean, if we're going to, if you're going to put it one tick above there, you ain't got much room to those highs. You need to push through, so you're going to get a point at best, really. I mean, if you manage to get in right on the nail, you may get a 1.25 out of it, but it's just not finishing good enough for me anyway, really. It might be a trap. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Kind of is a leg and a leg, although you could say it's... I mean, the thing's got to break at some point. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the stem anyway. I'd have preferred this much lower, even if it had finished like that at the top. But depending on how you draw this, it's a tough one, isn't it? It just, this thing is just not got me confident. I don't like what I'm seeing. It is kind of a little leg, sideways and little leg, but I'm not, you know, most of the time now I'll just look at a setup and I'll go, yeah, I like it. No, I don't. But this one, I don't trust it as far as I could throw it. Take it on the engulfing. Yeah, I'm not getting involved in this. This is risky for me, this. And the way that's triggered and this is pushing down tells me it's even more risky. I mean, it is a small break, I will say that. But we could have a leg down and a leg down. After that big push up, I'd like another correction if it's going to continue higher. I don't think it's going to come down and retest now. I think it's had its day and it's missed its... So I wouldn't be surprised if you have a leg. It may work, but I'm not getting involved in that. That's just something I don't like about this. I'd like a leg and a leg down to here and get a proper break. Took it before the golf bar close. How did that trend line anyway? Yeah. I mean, it's trying, isn't it? It's still sat on here twice, so I just never know. I don't trust it, to be honest with you. But I would like another... I would like more of a correction than that, really. That's not convincing enough for me. And the fact that it came back and we got that little bit of a wick, I don't like. I don't have the big downtrend. It was a spike in the channel and it has an overshoot, which explains the price action. Oh, we don't have that now. Yeah, see, I like the channel, although it's not the most sort of normal looking channel, I suppose, in a way, but what I will say is the fact that we've bounced there is telling me it's more likely going to be a range. If we can get a leg and a leg here, more of a correction here, then I would think that would be likely then to get us up to the top. If we can get down there, and that would get us up here. So it, as I say, there is a possibility we could just have a range day. Sometimes a range day will do that, up and down, but I'm not sure at the moment, but this to me, we got 3 tops there. I'd like to see another a leg down there, really. I think that's risky if you're in there. It may work, but I don't like that bar anyway. Break. 2 legs to a new high, you do. I'm not sure. I know Thomas Wade's got his channel the same as mine, apart from he's got that there. He's got it exactly the same. Whether that means anything to you or not. Tough one here. Okay, so if you did take, I mean, the bar wasn't terrible, but it's a bit too far from the MA, and I don't like that stem. Let's see what you'd have got. If you'd have got a tick above there, you wouldn't have got a lot. You'd have got maybe 1.25 points. You've got to push through that. It may keep going, but oh, it is keep going. Okay, so you'd have probably got a bit more than that. Let's have a look. So you'd have got 2 points off it for sure. So a little break. I mean, it may not even be a break. I mean, you could micro adjust that thing really so it fits. It might not even be a break. And if you think about it now, it fits better at the top now from that big move. Look, there and there. So we got some touches here, close enough there. That's a touch. That's a touch. That's a touch. I don't even think it's had a break, in all honesty. It's fitting better and better. It's, you know, it fits nice to me. So not many setups. No, not as yet, bud. Not as yet. So maybe that wasn't a terrible place to take a trade. Sometimes as these channels develop, sometimes what doesn't look good at the time can look better within time. So, I mean, we've had these 3 bottoms here, haven't we? And we've had a strong push up above the EMA. We've kind of had 2 legs up, and we've had a pullback, and that's where I've drawn that from. And it kind of works. I mean, it's working really nice within that sort of around that midline. So, is that at a break? I don't think so. At least we're trading today anyway. I know we're not getting any setups as yet, but for me, it's more important that we're at least doing something. And hopefully, if we sit here patiently enough, like good boys and girls, we may be lucky and get a setup. This thing just doesn't want to stop, does it? Look at it, it's still going. Is rhythmic issues just for US users? No, I don't believe it is, mate. I'm a UK user. I've had problems as well, but so now I think it's across the board, mate. Which I know's, yeah, there you go, global. Which I know is a bit of a pain in the arse. 61.8. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a pain, but so far so good. Everything's working okay with me, and I think everybody in this stream is good as well. So I don't feel too bad at the moment. So we've pushed up past that 61.8 level. We're still going. I was surprised. I thought we were going to get around here and then come down, and we didn't. We just kept on going. That ATR's come down and down. This is starting to look like a quite kind of a strong trend. We seem to be recovering a good chunk of that. We're almost 2/3 of the way up. I translate. Yeah. Do you know that the thing is, when I first started learning to trade, a currency trader, part of our job initially, the first part of the day was to identify a strong currency against a weak currency. And hey, presto, you've got a trend. So we were trend followers. And then we would get into certain entries if the bar came down below the 8 but didn't touch the 13 EMA or didn't close below it, and we'd have certain setups like that. But what I will say is some of our best trading really is when it's ranging. At least you kind of know where you are, short the tops, buy the bottoms. That's if we get a range day where it's, you know, it's picking off roughly in the same part right the way throughout the day. But sometimes, yeah, these trend channels can be not very profitable. But yeah. Just looking at this actually on the CL. Kind of it's almost like a failure that. I kind of like the way it's finishing for a pushed bounce. Tough on that, isn't it? Dean. Just watch the video you put out. Just want to tell you that I'll appreciate your decision to trade and stream every day. Brilliant. Thank you, mate. Thanks. Nice of you to say so. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully it helps us all. You know, if you see my journey, you can relate it to yours. You know, see, half the thing is really when you start trading, you don't know whether it's just you that's blowing up constantly or whether it's other people. You always tend to think the worst. You know, sometimes I used to think, is it just me? You know, am I never going to be able to do this? And then when you start to hook up with other people, you realise it happens to everybody. We all go through the same journey. So it's nice to share it with other people. And, you know, if I'm looking at something and I get feedback from you guys that you think it's like this or you think it's like that. So it helps me better. It helps me, excuse me, make better decisions. So, trouble is, I've always worked for companies. You know, I've always worked with people, and when you start to trade, it's a pretty old lonely job. So it is nice to have some work colleagues, and we're like work colleagues, but obviously at different parts of the world, and we sort of come together for this period of time and talk, share stories, share strategies, share ideas, and it is much better when you start to spend time with other traders. You do tend to learn more. And when I first started to learn to trade, a guy called Andrew Lockwood, I've mentioned this before, told me, spend your time around people you want to be like and you'll improve and you'll grow quicker and stronger. So it's just worked. It's been win-win for me, really, this has. But yeah, it can be a pretty old... I know some people just hook up for a little bit of company because, as we know, trading can be quite a lonely old business. But yeah, it's a tough business, isn't it? But I've never worked this hard for anything. I kind of always thought that if I wanted something bad enough, I'd always pretty much get it. But you know, I've never really had a career where I've learnt such a skill that I've had to, I admire sometimes these young people that work hard through school and then go to college and university and they have this one focus in mind, this one job in mind. And, they work hard at school or college or university, then they come home and they study. I've always admired those people. It's never something I've really done. I never did the university stuff. But I always admire that, these young people can, work hard and study and work and study and work and study to finally get to their end goals. So I kind of look at trading as the, my university, the thing that I missed out. It's, kind of given me the opportunity to go back in time and do it all again, really. and work hard and study to have the career one day that I like. I'd like to have more money from me, for me wife and me daughter. I wanted them to have a better life than I had, more money than I had, and travel and all this sort of stuff. I know it doesn't seem like it at the moment to them because they've seen me go through these, but I believe I'm coming out the other end now. I believe I'm in the best place I've been in for a long time. I rarely get frustrated or angry or down that I used to get because I've found my equilibrium really. And as soon as I stop revenge trading, you guys have got to admit, whenever you're revenge trading or you're jumping into these trades, it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible, sickening feeling in your stomach that you've got no control and this thing's taken over your life. I used to hate that feeling. Absolutely loathe it that it was taken over and I was just jumping in, blowing account after account, and I had no control over it. It used to make me feel literally physically sick. But since I stopped doing it, trading for me now is so much better, and I'm in a better mood all the time. I notice my wife, sees me in a better mood. She said to me, I used to dread you coming down from trading. Now I come down with a smile on my face, even if I've had no trades. Even the odd time if I've had a loss, because I've realised eventually that it doesn't matter what happens day by day. If I have two losses today or two, it really doesn't matter. The bigger picture is the more important thing. Are you consistent over time? The best traders in the world can have a bad day, but it doesn't mean they go out. The difference between them and the way I was and the way a lot of us are is they can walk away and then come back another day. I don't know how many times I had comments from you guys saying live to fight another day, but I just could not use that to apply enough pressure on me to stop that revenge trading. I kind of heard it, but it went in one ear and out the other. I had no control. But over time and getting used to the feeling and getting used to trading, it's not, I don't feel like I'm trading on the edge of my seat anymore in panic mode. I can relax a bit and kind of enjoy the experience. I still don't like to take losses, but it doesn't stress me like it used to. Nowhere near. So, once you get past that initial big hurdle, I would say, once you can start getting some self-control back and those emotions don't allow, you to be consumed by them, that's when things start to get better. Once you stop revenge trading, you don't have that horrible gut-wrenching feeling anymore. And it's so much nicer, it really is. I used to dread that feeling. Just that's such a lack of control. There is a second entry long there. Trouble is, this thing's going up and up and up and up and up. Oh, it doesn't work anyway. And this happens sometimes. I find the one time I decide to get in, it stops me out. So I'm kind of glad that never triggered. But what I will say is, if you're ever unsure about a trade, wait for the higher low. You'll get taken out quite a few times with the second entry long if something isn't right but you haven't noticed it. But the chance of you getting the higher low, that ups the chance of that trade working dramatically. So I always say, if you're not sure about the second entry long, wait for the higher low, and at least then it gives you chance to get trapped and stopped out, or what would have happened if you didn't take it. But yeah, you're not wrong, mate. Trading is a tough business. But that's the beauty of it. Just think when you're going to be earning great money and your friends and your family and the people that told you you'd never be able to do it are all jealous because you're earning a nice load of money and having a better life. That's what I look forward to. There is one or two members of my sort of family and that I kind of know have thought, well, how the hell are you going to be able to do this? You know what I mean? So I kind of look forward to that moment where I can go, we're off on holiday again. First class this time. But yeah, I mean, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But, what I will say is when you are starting to earn money, you damn well deserve it. God, there's a trade here I'm looking at. It's very tempting. It's like kind of a triple test, but I'm leaving it alone. It is a second entry short, and it is kind of 1, 2, 3. But we have had a leg up and kind of 2 attempts to go lower, so sometimes we'll get that extra push after 2 attempts. So sometimes we'll go 1, 2, and then we'll push up a bit higher. So that's what kept me out of that trade. But it may work, but I'm happy to leave that one. It just didn't feel quite right. You'll take that. Looking at. Okay, so I actually think the way that channel looks, it looks nice to me. If you think we've had a break before then, that trade would be risky, and it worked and it kept on going. Now, we're not quite getting up to the tops now after this, so we've got a break. So I think now there's a really good chance that we're going to get up and test these highs. I think it's gone too far to think about coming to test the lows, so I'd like to see a leg and a leg, maybe a bit of sideways, and eventually a push up. Mac has 2 channels here, does he? Does he really? A secondary one at a slightly different angle. Yeah, it's a tough one, that. So does he have something like this, does he? Something like that. I'm really not sure about that. Okay, so I'm glad I left that on the CL. We did come down a bit, but turned. Now, I see this a bit as well. We push in to a range, bounce twice, and then push up to the top. And that's exactly what we did there. So I left that kind of triple test. Although it did get back to the EMA, so if you wanted to ride that back to the EMA, you may have got something there. Because it kind of, after this, was a triple test, really, wasn't it? But it just didn't feel quite right. Okay, so let's keep an eye on this. It's a tough one, yeah, it is. It's not the easiest one to read. If we can push up above this and get a higher low, then I would be pretty confident in going along there. That's if it happens. Whether it will or not is a different matter. Yeah, I've just adjusted this CL chart if anyone's interested. I had that there, but I kind of like that. We got a couple of touches there, a touch there, a touch there. We got a little breakout the top here, followed by one at the bottom. We often get that. So I think that is not a terrible looking range. So if we can get up here, there may be an option for a short up there. We'll see. Okay, so we've had a little break. Now that big bull bar has triggered and it's starting to pull back, so this should give us an indication of are we going to get another leg, or we've already had a break and we're now in a downtrend. So if that one goes, usually that first one does go, so I'd still be expecting 2 legs there, so that for me would be a no-no. So I'd expect something like that. Let's see if that holds. See, that's interested. First entry, it's kind of a failure. Trapping some longs. So is that not a bad short? Not much distance from the low, so I wouldn't be interested in it, but I wouldn't be shocked if we did come down some more. What's crypto? It's been really slow, crypto, hasn't it, lately? I thought when we hit that 74,000 Bitcoin, we're going to get a pull back and rocket up to 100,000. But we're floating around the 70 to 71,000 most of last week and the weekend, and we're back down to 67 now. It really does seem to be struggling. Who knows? There may be some stops below there, so if we can push below there, we may get a little bit of a drop. Not much, but if we get below there, we may get a little bit closer to this measured lag. No, not yet. We got 3 touches at the same level there. Yeah, we may not get a measured leg, but I think we're going to... It does look like we're getting 2 legs. I'm going to get rid of that felt, in all fairness. It does look like we're getting 2 legs. This second leg, I don't think it's going to be as big as the first one. If we get below there, then we may make down to that measured leg. I'll put it back if we do break that line. See, depending on how you see this channel, whether we... see, that looks too steep for a larger channel. If we break below there, we may get that bit lower. It looks too steep for a larger trend, that, for me. It looks more like a leg and a leg before we go higher. Okay, let's see what happens now here. All the way back here, you just never quite know what's going to happen, do you? See, I've gone over that multiple times. So usually after that first break like this, and that pullback, usually where it bounces like that, excuse me, that's when it starts to push up, and you can see it sort of holding there, can't you? That little sort of U-shaped in those wicks, and then we push up strong over here, come back, push up again, and that's where we keep sort of bouncing from, with the exception of this break here. So this is a leg and a leg for me, and I still think it's highly likely we're going to break these lows. I mean, there is a possibility that we could get another leg up. I mean, it's gone quite a distance, to be honest with you, and if we did get another leg up, it would take us quite a bit higher than here. So it's hard to say at the moment. But I'm guessing there'll be quite a few different opinions on what's going on there, or whether we've had a break. That's the trouble. Sometimes they're easy as hell to read, and other times you can just mess around so many times and still not feel comfortable. But I'm looking on a couple of Discords here, and this seems to be the general consensus that it is still working somehow within that channel, and only this being the break. There's 1 or 2 so they think we've had a break, but this to me I think is the most obvious one. But there is the possibility we could end up ranging there for a bit. So if you went long above that for a higher low, it could trigger you and then come back, and we could end up going sideways. We could have a leg down, bit of sideways, another leg down, followed by a bigger move. So there's a lot of ifs and buts, really. There is a higher low there, but that to me is way too far from that, so I'm staying out of this. It might work, but it's just too risky. Yeah, absolutely. Bars same colour. It may work. I mean, if it's going to push up, it may work, but I would prefer something like that. It's one of those ones, isn't it? Sometimes it works, but I'm not taking it. Yeah, sometimes these can be really tricky to read. But from what I'm seeing, I think it's more likely we're going to push up to the top there. Little leg down followed by a break and a bounce off here and a strong push up for the EMA. We could come back here a bit first before we push up. I wouldn't think we would come down here again to push up. If we come down here again, we may. I mean, there's always a possibility if we have had a break that this is a bigger channel which would fit. Excuse me a second. Yeah, I mean, if it has had a break, it kind of would fit, wouldn't it? It fits there, but my first thought, as we've pushed strongly there, is we're going to go higher. But if we don't and we start to work down, then I might reintroduce this downtrend. But just for the moment, I'm going to make her disappear. Yeah, they can be really tricky to read, these sometimes, and if you get them wrong, they can stitch you up. Sometimes I wonder whether you'd be better off closing your eyes and clicking buy or sell. I think you'd have more chance sometimes. But it's also the market sort of seems to know where you're going to get in a weak position and punish you for it. So I think sometimes as a beginner, trying to read the charts, you've got more chance of just buying and selling with your eyes shut. 5-minute chart makes that higher low on a tick look good, does it really? What are you on? 5 minutes on the ESD, are you? Or on the NQ? Yes, okay. So that's the 5-minute ES. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does look like an attractive place to come for another leg. It's funny that. I did say after a couple of legs there is a possibility we could make another leg up, and judging what we're seeing here, it would actually make perfect sense. I mean, we're well above this, but it doesn't necessarily mean we can't. But yeah, I see what you mean. Big strong push up back to the MA. Strong push up, but we could also have another leg and another leg. That to me, whenever I see that, sometimes we get a small bar with a body in the middle. If you don't jump in there, it will give you another little teaser. Come on, follow me. You missed the last one. You're going to miss the whole move if you're not careful. And I've seen that so many times, then just do that. It almost knows how to suck you in. You know, come on, you're going to miss the train. And all of a sudden, wham, it turns around. I've seen that so many times, which is good because it's almost like the market's showing you its hand. It's almost like a sort of poker bluff, if you like. You know, come on, follow me. was a beautiful second entry long on the 4,000 tick of the yes, was it really? Let's just have a look. Where are we? 4,000. Let's go 5,000, and we'll configure it. Tick 5,000. Edit 4. Yeah, leg down with a break, new low, strong bull bar. Yeah, that's looking bullish, isn't it? Yeah, it is. You're not wrong. Oh, what has gone on there? Oh. I don't know what happened there. There we go. Use the 4,000 to help confirm. Yeah, I used to have the 10,000, but I did start to run out of screens. Yeah, it makes me nervous when it does this. So this thing's got a habit of sucking you in and dropping. It's, to me, it's struggling a little bit. We could get a leg and a leg. It's always possible. Just want to make sure everything's working okay. Test.
Order submitted.
Yeah.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
Yeah.
Order cancelled.
Watch out for the failed second entry short. Yeah, I'm not taking anything long here at the moment, not with this congestion. I mean, we have pushed above the EMA. I think it's highly likely it will do. Trouble is, it's risky there because it's clearly congested. There's no other way to look at that, really. It's clearly congested. You never know it's going to do that. We have pushed above it, but that to me is just too far for the EMA. Just, you know, sometimes they'll just work. They will. Other times, and I always find when you do nothing, that's the times when they'll work. When you decide to go in and have a go, that's when it'll chop you. So that, after this, is quite a strong bar. So I'll be surprised now if this doesn't break these highs. Okay. So we're bouncing off that now. So we got a matching. That's probably going to break it, I would have said. Congestion context, good though. Yeah, I mean, I do think that we've had a break from this, and this is a push-up. But there's just nothing I fancy there, really. Okay, we have clearly made a new high, but there's just nothing that makes me... I don't know. That one, it clearly worked, although it nearly came back. But there's nothing else, really, that would drag me into a trade. That one, for me, too risky. It could trigger you and come back here before it pushes up. And then, unfortunately, sometimes you get a great setup and it does what it's supposed to. Other times, it just does this and then rockets. I mean, look at that. We're going sideways and a good strong move up. It's too late and you're already there. Move's already happened, but that's the only one which looks slightly appealing. But I when this happened and then that happened, I stayed out of it because, you know, there's always that possibility that we have already made a break, and we could sort of do this. And the funny thing about this is, look how nice it fits. So if you went long there, it could trick you and then start working down here. So it's just one of those things that if you've got doubts and you're not sure about this, I've seen multiple ways of drawing this channel. There's a few people I've looked at that are drawing these slightly. You know, someone mentioned Matt's got a different channel. That would completely affect your decision making here. Some people say we've had a break, which means we could trap some longs and come down. So it's just one of those things. In hindsight, it's easy. You can see what happened. You know, we know generally what happens after we had a break. Usually we'll have a couple of legs down, we'll push up for the EMA, have a little pullback, and then make a push up for the highs. But, you know, when we haven't got the luxury of you know, hindsight, you've really got to make your decision based on what you've seen at the time. And if you've got doubts that you've got the channel wrong or something's not right, it just does make a trade so much more riskier. So this CL is just rocketing up. I was kind of after the break and break here. I was kind of hope we have a channel with a break, 2 push up to a new high, maybe look for a short or a lower high here because of this nice looking channel, but I think it doesn't want to stop. Second entry short from the highs. Second entry short there. Trouble is you don't know whether we're going to have something larger there. So, channel, break, 2 legs down, and a push up to break those highs. So, that channel's, regardless of how you're drawing it, to be honest with you, if you squeeze it like that, it actually fits nice. You know, you could adjust it slightly, but if OCO order during the news can fail. If OCO order during the news can fail. That strategy. I'm not sure what you're asking there, bud. Are you asking what's the strategy for it? Well, the only downside at the moment is that's when things with rhythmic tend to go wrong for some reason. And it is very risky. But I think I'm not sure what you're asking there, but you want to know what it is. Yeah, okay. So if you're not sure what it is, if you want to trade the news on an evaluation and you want to take an OCO order, what you've got to do is right click there, click OCO, buy stop
Order
market up
submitted.
here, and sell stop market below. Drag it in. The theory is if it's good news, it pushes up, triggers the long, cancels the short, and vice versa. So that's the strategy, but it's risky. Sometimes it'll whip up and then down first. But I think usually with the CPI data, it's usually pretty good in flowing quickly in one direction. So yeah, it's just putting a buy order. Now you can only do it on an evaluation. You certainly don't want to be doing it on a PA anyway, because you don't want to blow your PA, but you're not allowed to anyway. But that's just it basically. Right click, select OCO. You want to put a buy market order above price, a sell market order below, then sort of drag them in, and just before price, maybe have them, I don't know, maybe the buy order, something like that, and maybe the sell order, something like that. If it's good news or positive news and the market moves quickly in that direction, it'll trigger you long and hopefully hit your profit depending on what you're going for. And as it triggers you long, it cancels your short, and vice versa. If the market shoots down, picks up your short, it'll cancel your long. And hopefully, if you're going for an outright pass, so maybe if you're going for a 50k one, you want 10 contracts and 25 ticks. That's enough to push through and to cover your commissions, and vice versa. And then obviously if you want to go for the 250k, I think it's 48 ticks. But practice it on a sim first. Open the order and make sure it's hitting the profit that you want, and make sure you got the same amount of ticks. But it is risky. It doesn't always work. But I suppose the one benefit at the moment, it's if you're doing the 250k one, it's only $16, so the risk is minimal. Why does it have to be OCO? Well, the beauty about an OCO order is you get the ability to go for a long and a short at the same time with one contract. The way I used to do it is I used to have two accounts. I'd duplicate the screen, I'd put a long order there and a short order there on two separate accounts. But if it goes up and triggers one you'll pass, the other one you'll fail. So you were guaranteed to at least fail one, but with just one with one account now, you have the ability to put a long in and a short in at the same time. So the theory is if the market moves up, it triggers you long, and OCO meaning one cancels other. Excuse me. And as soon as it triggers a long, for instance, it will cancel the short and vice versa. Yeah. But it's a way of trying to pass it in one go, but with only having one account. But it is risky. But I think that the reason I think that it's worth taking for some people is because it's $16. So I don't know about the price of beer in the US, but you can get a couple of pints for that over here. Maybe 2.5 pints. So it's not a huge risk. But if you can hold PA accounts, it enables you to pass it today and be trading it, and hopefully building some funds in it tomorrow. So it's useful when we have these one day to pass offers. I think they've extended that one to the middle of July. I think the 15th of July, the 250k one. I'm not sure about the rest of them. I'm pretty sure we'll find out tonight, because that offer is due to finish tonight. But I have heard that it's going to be extended. Let me just check. Yes, at the moment it's due to finish tonight, but I'm pretty sure this will change later. Double top on the 5 minute. I'm not a guru. Passing evals in one day. Like you. I'm not a guru. Yeah. I think you do one the other day, Karina, didn't you? And it didn't work. Sometimes it'll trigger it, push up so far, come back. By that time, because you've pushed forward and come back, it may hit your drawdown before eventually pushing higher. So ideally, if you're going for the 50k one, what you want to do is have one continuous move up for 6 points or 6.25 points to hopefully hit your target before we get a bit of a pullback, maybe on the way up. So we're trying to capture that move really. So, you know, if you were getting into the market here, you know, ideally you want that first move to push up above that. Maybe a small pullback's okay, but if it goes up so far, you could be in all sorts of trouble there. But it is a risk. But it, you know, if you can hold PAs and you can, you know, get them to pay, then it just enables you to go from evaluation to you know, to hopefully a paying PA account in a day without having to, you know, pass all the, you know, the normal procedure of passing the evaluations. If you're a new trader, I wouldn't suggest doing that at all. I'd say really that's for people who can hold PAs, because there's no point in doing it in one go, paying your $140 and then blowing your PA account a week later. So it's more if you can hold PAs just to get up to that level of just building up some more. Right, let's have a look at this. Is there any type of sideways momentum there or not? So we've had a break and we've made a new high. So there's always a possibility of us now coming down. Whether we will or not is another matter. I mean, I've only done it a handful of times myself, really, trying to pass them with the news. But I've got to say, last week, it did seem to be lots of people trading the news at the same time that seemed to upset Rhythmic. So whether it was because of that or not, I don't know. But I think there's a good chance it was, because as soon as 1:30 hit and the news came in, that's when all these messages on the Discord seem to start to pop up. So whatever you do, do not trade your PA accounts with the news, because chances are you'll blow it. And if you don't blow it, Apex will have something to say about it. You can't use an OCO. I'm pretty sure you can't anyway. And if you trade in an OCO with the news, Apex aren't going to like that for sure. Could be, mate. Yeah, could be. There kind of is a higher low there. But after, I just can't go long at the moment because we've had a channel, we've had a break, and 2 pushes up to a new high. So this could be reversing. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. So you may go long there. It may trigger you and then give you a lower high from here. So I'm just staying out of this. Yeah, that's the problem, really. Going long when we've already had a new high is risky. I'm not saying it's not going to, it could. But it is risky. So after the new high, you know, you would think we would more likely come down. See what happens. We've triggered that long. So if we come down here now and get a lower high, it might not be a bad short.
Order submitted.
Especially if it closes below that line. Let's have a look. Hopefully it won't be a big risk either. Let's see how this bar pans out. No, no good. It's a
Order
doji.
cancelled.
That's a shame. We may have got a possible good setup there. It's a shame, really, because that had a finished bearish. I'd have had a go at that, because I don't think it's that bad, actually. Channel down with a break. Lower high, bearish bar, lower high. Hidden second entry short followed by a lower high. I don't think it's a bad option. So these guys that have their one tick offset, that may look better. In fact, let's do it. Break of end of day. Let's take that down to 3 days. Let's see if at the offset changes that a little bit. Yeah, it does. Look at that. Second entry short followed by a lower high.
Order submitted.
Come back and get me. Come on. Damn. That's a shame. That is a real shame. Second entry short followed by a lower high. Oh, balls. That's
Order
a shame.
cancelled.
What some traders do, if anybody knows Taylor from Top Pick Trading, what he does is he has a separate chart with a one tick offset. So if you look here where I've gone into my data, he deselects break at end of day there and changes this. I think it's to 3. So, and then sometimes it gives you a slightly different chart. And look at that leg down there. Second entry short followed by a lower high worked beautifully. So just to show you what I mean, in case anybody doesn't know, I'm just gonna leave that there. I'm gonna duplicate this screen, and I'm gonna change this in the data series to, I'm gonna select that and go back to 5 days or 7 days and select apply, and it should make that chart different. Yeah, it is. That's initially that was initially mine. No second entry there. It was a doji, but if you look, when you change it, look at the difference. Look how much better that is. There's a second entry short and a lower high there, and perfectly worked. So some traders, what have I done with that chart? Some traders will have 2 charts and trade whichever one looks better, or maybe just use the one as confirmation for a short that might not look brilliant. Where is it? Where's that second one? Is it there? No, it's there, isn't it? So yeah, there. So that's interesting, isn't it? No real setup there. But look at that one. Look how worlds apart. Better have the 2 charts. Yeah. I was chatting with Taylor the other week about it, and he said what he does is he uses it as confirmation for a short. So if he's not sure about taking a short there because the bar might be a bit risky, he has a second chart, and if the bar looks better on there, he'll take a short. I don't do it because I haven't got a lot of spare screens, but I am tempted to maybe, in fact, I am tempted to maybe keep this chart, make it a bit smaller just for that reason. So I'm just going to switch it onto a sim, that one. But yeah, how weird is that? So I'm just going to take a screenshot of that. Sorry about that. So I bet there'll have been some traders who've taken that one. Excuse me a second. Copy image. Paste. Let's get rid of that now. Okay, so yeah, so if you're not sure about that, if the signal bar isn't brilliant, look on your second chart, and if the signal bar's better, then you could probably take that. So it's interesting, isn't it, that really? That you can do that. I'd never heard about that up until recently. Well, I kind of heard it, but it didn't really make much sense at the time. But yeah, it's just a second chart with a slight difference. Now, there is going to be some traders who have that chart, have the ability to look at that chart and trade that chart. So by having that, it gives us another chance at a setup, because that was such a shame because the context was looking lovely. We'd had a break in the way of two legs. We'd had two legs up, made a new high, and then we started to push down with a break. Now, as we know, a break of a channel, we usually make a new extreme, and we clearly did. There was a hidden second entry short. You may have taken that one, but at the time, because we're also a little bit sideways, I was looking for the lower high there and the body of it to close below that line, in which case I would have taken that one. And if you'd have taken that one, it went down for 3 points. I'd have got out 2 points, which would have been there, just below there. So that would have worked perfectly. We're still lower here, so, you know, there may be, but yeah. Signature short, definitely not good enough because of the overshoot. Oh, high, yeah. So I was just typing something into a Discord there. CEO of Apex confirmed that when they published the last round of rule updates, Okay, there's something more to come there, isn't there, I think, but let's have a look here. There's another second entry short there. That's tempting. This looks to me like a channel. I'm going to see how this forms.
Order submitted.
It's quite a small risk, I think.
Order filled.
Okay, unfortunately, I'm not going to get as much as I'd like here because if it works, let's have a look. See how we get on anyway. Not massive risk, 2.25 points, so it's not terrible. Does look like a spike in a channel, so fingers crossed. We need to get below there, really. If we can get below there, it may take out some thingy bobs.
Order filled.
Okay, it's alright, I wasn't sure about that. It was struggling here, so what do we get there? 1.25. Okay, I can live with that. I thought that was good enough. It's still worth taking, really. It's $1,200 on all my accounts, so it's still worth a go. It's probably going to come lower, to be honest with you. But you know, when you just think, I want to get in and out there. I not ordinarily see. I like to try and get out at the bodies, not the wicks. But the trouble is, we've just got nothing there really, so it's just not worth taking. There's barely a point there. See, so I got out. Where did I get in there? So let's have a look. So yeah, it got down to 2 points. I would want to be out by now, really. So I actually went for 1.5 points, but I just don't like this. So I thought, let's just not be greedy. Let's just get out at the end of that bar. So I kind of like what I did. So it may just continue down, but like, you know, it's $125 times 10. It's $1,250, so it's still worth taking it. That's the beauty of having multiple accounts. The risk's small, but you can, you know, you can pick up some sort of points there. I don't like this. I'm just wondering whether this is a type of a bottoming thing, but but if you got in there, one tick below there, you'd have got a little bit lower than that anyway. you'd have got a 1.75. So it's not over yet. We may come down some more. I think we probably will. But we've had a new high. We've got a spike, and it does look like a spike in a channel. We've got a touch. That's sort of confirmed it for me. But I don't like this. I just don't like that sort of little, the way those bars are sitting like that. Don't ask me why. I don't think there could be any type of a larger channel up there or not. You never quite know, see, do you? Still got places to go, but it does look like a spike and channel to me. But so you took that second entry short. Good on you, mate. I don't think it's over yet. It may come down some more. I mean, look, we've gone up to the top and we've pulled down some more, but you really want to get out before those lows, really. And it did exactly what it was supposed to. I always like to get out the bodies, but I was prepared to give it a bit more there. But not much more. But you really want to get out of those lows, and if you put it at those lows, it clearly works. So even at those lows, tick below, you'd have got 2 points there. So even if that's slightly more, maybe there, yeah, maybe, yeah. I think 6 ticks is ideal there. What's happened to me chart? Sorry about that. The ATR is a little bit low, but I'm happy. It's a pint and a quarter. A pint and a quarter. But as I say, over 10 accounts, it's $1,200 or $1,170, which is absolutely worth it. So I thought I was actually going for well, the plan was to go for 1.5 down there, but when it's doing this, I'm just not sure of this. So I just wanted to, sometimes just for the extra tick, it's not worth it. You took the short as well. Nice day's work, can't complain. It all helps, doesn't it? I know in an ideal world it's not a huge amount, but I'll take that all day long. If I can get that every day, after fees, if you can get $117 5 days a week, even that amount, it's not a huge amount. That's over $2,000 per account per month. Now I'm only trading half mine in one go, so let's say you only get that on 10 accounts. That's still $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month is serious money. You're talking $250,000 a year. It's a very, very small percentage of the population really earn that. If you're earning that in the UK, you're in about the top 1.5% of earners. So and someone told me once, when you can trade and start to make money, money will just follow you. Once you can trade your own account, and as your own account grows and gets bigger, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that just made me nervous, that did. Let's see if this comes down some more, because it's actually pulled back further than I thought it might do. I would like to see that continue on past there. It is coming down good, so that's good news anyway. Only slight concern is it starts to now look more sideways. Sorry about that. So this, I'm just going to bring this other chart here with the ODA, the 1 day. Excuse me. That, excuse me a second. Sorry about that. That setup there looked much better on that other chart with the EOD deselected, but it didn't look so hot there. That looked much better, especially that lower high. We didn't really get a lower high there, did we? But that looked much better. So it just goes to show sometimes. I think if I remember, Taylor said to me, if he sees a good setup on this, he'll take a short on this, even though the bar might not seem fantastic and vice versa. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? I don't know whether it's a good idea or not, but it seems to help some traders. Just not sure whether this is going more sideways now. So that. Sorry, I missed some comments there. Are you on the other chart still? Is it slightly different? Yeah, see this chart I've got here, this is the normal chart I had from today where that setup wasn't good. The other chart I got above me was the one where the setup was slightly good, and the only difference is one of them has break at end of day selected and 3 days, and the other one, this one down here, has it selected there and 5 days, and it makes a slight difference. I'm not exactly sure why, but I just know it works, and I know a few traders have mentioned it before. So there is actually a second entry short there. My only slight concern is this maybe looking a little bit sideways. And if I'm going to take a short there, it's 2/3 of the way down to the bottom, so it doesn't look like it's going to set up anyway, so I'm just sitting tight at the moment. What time are we? I think I'm coming to the end of my day. I think how long we've been going for? 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think now, in all honesty, this is probably going a little bit sideways. But that did what it was supposed to anyway. Drop there. I don't think there's a bigger channel there. I mean, it is possible. It is possible. There could be a bigger channel. When you think about it, we went sideways. We had a big strong push up what could have been the bottom. We've also touched multiple times here. We've come up to the top, lower high. We've continued down. We haven't quite got to the bottom, so we've got a break. We've had a break followed by a lower high. It's come down, made a new low. So there is a possibility that after this, that there is a bigger channel down there. It's just hard to say at the moment, really, isn't it? See, that's another reason I like seeing other people's charts, people like Mac or Marco, just to see if they have something like that. But if I put it like that, we've touched here, we've touched here, and we've touched here. We haven't quite come down to the bottom, so we've had a break, a push up, followed by a lower high and a new low. So it's possible that could be the case. Also could be a triple test. This is interesting. That could be a triple test. I don't think that's a bad trade, actually. Leg and a leg. I'm not taking it. It's still a bit congested, but if I was trading just one account or an evaluation, I may have a go at it. But it's such a lot of chop there, and it's just one of those ones, isn't it? But technically, if that channel is right, it's played out. We've made a break, lower high, new low. Technically, it's played out. So it could trap some shorts there and push up. It's just one of those areas where it's just a bit hard to know exactly what's going on. I mean, there is always a possibility that there may be something larger here. Does it fit? May do. So if we were going to get a leg from there to there, and then from there to there would take us up to these. I don't know what it is. It's just pure speculation, but it's certainly feasible. Why has that gone green? I don't have it set to green. Hey, it's even worse. My chart colour's changed for some odd reason. Hate it when things change. Oh, the damn thing's froze. Oh my God. What? And the lag shot up. What the hell is going on here? Oh, hello. Didn't like that very much. Where's the wick? Wonder if it was anything to do with me changing the break of end of day. Maybe. Where's the wick? Actually, no, I prefer it thicker. So, leg and a leg. So, if you did take that one, so far it's holding. So you could say that is a triple test. How much have you got? So down to the bottom you'd have 0.75. I'd be inclined to take a 0.5 if I was going to take that one, which I think you'd have just got actually. But it's just a bit, I'm just not sure what's going on here. Whether we've maybe got something slightly wider for the break. I don't know. Not only that, we've got a channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. That looks like maybe a penguin style trade. So I'd say if it was going to take that, it may take that on a limit order, something like that, out before the bottom. So you could probably even take it a bit lower, really. Six ticks is that all it is? Yeah, so if he did take that one, it's clearly done what it was supposed to and some. So, depending how you see this, we've got a channel down with a break, 2 pushes down to a new low. We're clearly going a bit sideways here. You can clearly see there's some congestion there, and that looks like a little fail breaker. I like the way it's triggered above. It's triggered that little bull bar. So once, twice, triple test for a push down for a new low. I think he's likely, yeah, it's done it there, I think, or a matching low. Yeah. So yeah, it does look like a triple test, and also 2 little legs up. And it did work. It's just, it's a bit congested, really. I'm not sure what's happening with this, but I thought it would likely do what it was supposed to. I'll mark that one as it's not a bad trade, I don't think. So that one's second entry, short, lower, high. Okay, I think I'm done for today, folks. I've done my 3 hours, a few minutes under 3 hours. I'm up a trade as well. So there's been quite a bit of volume today. It's actually certainly improved. So I'm going to go and have my dinner. I don't know what's going on there. Why? Okay. What measurement tool is that? This there. It comes from Mac's website, this, bud, as part of his tools. You know about that? Comes as part of his tools. I don't know if there's anything else in there. There should be some sort of a... excuse me. Okay, so it's a ruler tool. There you go. So it's a ruler. Oh, that's a slightly different one. I've never seen that before. Okay, so go in here. Where is it? It's down here somewhere, wasn't it? Where is it? Ruler. So if you want to go from here to there. Oh, 10.75 points. It tells you how many bar. Oh, yeah, it's a slightly different one, isn't it? It's not ideal, is it? But why can I not? Okay, yeah, yeah. If you want that one, it's from Mac's website. Not that one. The measuring, take profit and stop loss. The measurement for the take profit and stop loss. Oh, measurements. You mean the one that tags onto the orders? You on about that one? I tell you what. Let me just get rid of Replicanter now, because I'm done for the day anyway. So I'm just going to switch back onto the PA. I think that's what you mean, isn't it? Let me just check.
Order submitted.
Check. It's just a sim. You on about this one here, are you?
Order filled.
You on about this that measures that?
Target filled.
No. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean, but let me have a look. Measurement tool. So the only measurement tools I've got really is this one. Are you on about the legs? You on about the legs? One you use when you explain penguins. Are you on about this? That thing? 2 attempts to go high. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. This thing here, yeah? That thing there, risk to reward. That's what you're on about, yeah? Yeah, it's just a risk to reward tool. You can set it. So if you double click on it, you have got various different settings there. You can change the ratios. So if you want to go from 1 to 2, so if I click template there and load, I've got a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio there, which shows you, and you can just sort of move these as and when. But all it's really for is the penguin guy, for instance, if he has, say, 2 legs up, what he'll do, because he trades minimum 1 to 1, so what he'll do, he'll work out where he needs to be in and out. So what he likes to do is to have a trade to work below the EMA and then come back, and he takes it on a limit order. So he just wants to know his stops up here and he's out comfortably before the lows. So I think that's what you mean, bud. But it's just that, I don't know what it's called. Let's have a look. Oh, there you go. Risk to reward there. It should be down the side. If it's not down the side, it should be in here somewhere. There it is there. Control and F4. I think that's what you mean, bud. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's just a tool he uses just to work out his risk to reward. I mean, you can do it here, but it's a bit easier. So there you go. That's me sorted for the day. So we're up one trade anyway. So what looked like a slightly large channel with a break and a lower high there clearly made what I needed to. It went down for 2 points, but it broke the lows. I knew what it was supposed to. So what's happening now? I don't know. Are we continuing further down? Is there a larger channel? I got no idea. You're very welcome, my friend. So that is me done. Look, if you carry on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a setup. What's going to happen here, I don't know. Whether we're going to sort of move up and have another leg or go sideways, I got no idea. But I managed to get something, not a huge trade. But that's the beauty about having multiple accounts. You know, one single trade for a point or a point and a quarter can make you over $1,000 there, you know, in multiple accounts. So it's you know, it can turn into quite an half decent payday. But that is me for the day. Hopefully I haven't had any problems today that rhythmics affected me. So hopefully we don't wake up tomorrow and have another load of problems. I don't think we will. And I'm being optimistic here. So have a great day. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And I'll be back same time tomorrow. And hopefully we get another trade. It's Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah, Wednesday tomorrow. Okay. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And I am back tomorrow. Bye for now.